All right, let's cut across live now to Chhattisgarh, where the wreath-laying ceremony is taking place at the moment. Remember, 15 CRPF and Special Task Force personnel died in that audacious Naxal attack yesterday near Sukhma, and one civilian also lost his life in that attack.
पीछे रहो यार, थोड़ा सा पीछे रहो। ओ भाई साहब थोड़ा सा पीछे रहो। ये वो भाई साहब कहाँ जा रहे हो यार? कौन है बीच में कैमरा लेके जाए?
All right, the wreath-laying ceremony happening at the moment in Jagdalpur in Chhattisgarh. Deputy Editor Shiv Arur is now joining us. Shiv, even as we salute the braves, the question that is pertinent to ask is why were those lives lost despite the warnings?
That's a very pertinent question that must be asked not just today, but for many days and many months to come, Maha, because even as the Home Ministry and the other agencies actually go into a huddle to try and fix blame, to try and see what really went wrong, why those 16 men had to lay down their lives despite at least two warnings that came. One, a general warning that came in January, and a specific warning that came just 4 days before this attack. Many people might believe that, calling the jawans of the CRPF and the state police cannon fodder, is an extreme reaction. But if you look at the figures, the numbers, and the fact that, Guard of Honor ceremonies of this kind happen, at least once a month in Chhattisgarh, Maha, you'd know that it isn't really an emotional reaction at all. The simple fact of the matter is these jawans are being sent, to fight without intelligence, without a lot of coordinated backup, even though there is a unified command structure in Chhattisgarh. So at the end of the day, you've got an endless supply of soldiers, an endless supply of so-called pawns to go there, to actually fight the frontline battle itself, without the kind of backup necessary to make the entire human effort on the front line really worth it. Given the fact that the Naxal forces in Chhattisgarh have only risen in their power, risen in their influence, They've spread in terms of their logistical capabilities.
Right.
They've been able to, capture more police stations. They've been able to. It simply means that what we're seeing in this and the other.
And especially in this particular area, Shiv, what can you tell us about this particular area of Sukhma where this attack has taken place? After all, very close to the spot where the Naxal attack happened yesterday was where the top Congress leadership of Chhattisgarh was also wiped out.
That's correct. In fact, just 7 kilometers away. And if you remember, some very high-level abductions also happened from exactly this place 3 years. The 8 that have highly sensitive.
All right, there seems to be a bit of an audio problem there with Shiv Arur. We will go back to our deputy editor in just a bit. But as Shiv was pointing out, that repeatedly we see ceremonies like these happening, wreath laying, and our braves laying down their lives, going to the front line to fight the Maoists without the backup that is really required. At this point in time, what you're seeing on your television screens are live visuals that are coming in from Jagdalpur. The Home Minister along with the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Raman Singh, present over there. Even the Army Chief is supposed to be present there at the wreath-laying ceremony. 15 CRPF and Special Task Force personnel laid down their lives yesterday when the Naxals attacked them in Sukhma area, and one civilian also lost his life. Shiv Arur is back with us. Shiv, you were pointing out yourself how repeatedly we see our braves laying down their lives and without fighting the Maoists, without any sort of a backup that they really require, specifically in terms of intelligence inputs. Now, when are we going to see some specific responsibility being fixed as to where the loophole exists?
It's a difficult question. The simple fact is, what we saw yesterday was a shameful shifting of blame between departments, Maha. We saw the Home Ministry, talk about how standard operating procedures were not followed by, this area domination party. We saw how certain agencies said that, the intelligence being given was not specific enough. So at the end of the day, this is precisely what we see after each one of these attacks, a constant shifting of, accountability. The Home Ministry condemning the attack but doing very little else. So at the end of the day, even though inquiries do happen, specific accountability is never fixed. And that's actually at one level understandable, given the multitude of agencies and departments actually operating in the area under the unified command structure. It's an overlapping sort of mess of different kinds of agencies, different kinds of people reporting to 100 different bosses, not a very clear sort of chain of command, definitely competing interests, turf battles, egos involved. So at the end of the day, nobody really knows with a degree of clarity, unlike the armed forces, who the boss really is. So at the end of the day, you've got this extremely muddled sort of atmosphere already there, a lack of clarity. When the UPA came to power in 2004, the Naxal problem was a problem. In 2010, when they're about to demit office, it's become an epic problem, much larger than it was when they actually took office.
Right.
So I think a great deal of introspection is going to be necessary.
Well, absolutely. Manmohan Singh has himself called the Naxal problem the biggest problem for the country. However, no concerted effort in the right direction is made to tackle the menace of Naxalism in the country. Shiv Arur, they're reporting live visuals there from Jagdalpur in Chhattisgarh, wreath-laying ceremony on at the moment.